When I started this YouTube channel, one of my big goals was to try to kind of emulate some of the channels that I leveraged quite a bit when I was trying to learn, especially towards the very beginning. YouTube was a tremendously powerful resource for me when I was trying to figure out how oil paints work. How do you mix them? What kind of surfaces? What kind of brushes? There was a ton that I didn't know, and I didn't have any training, so I leaned on YouTube. So I consumed a ton of videos from a lot of different artists, and throughout that process, I kind of learned the things that I found valuable in a video. One of the things that was really important to me when I started the channel was I want to kind of pay it forward. If I could help just even a handful of people, a couple of people who are amateurs like I am and trying to learn, if I could give some people what I found useful, that would be a victory. That would make the whole thing worth it to me. So essentially the goal was, let me see if I can almost recreate certain styles or certain constructions of videos that made the most sense to me or helped facilitate my learning the most. So one of those artists, there's a few, like Chris Fornatero, I watched a ton of his videos. Alpay Effie, I watched a ton of his as well. And I really liked the video setup where it's consumable, it's not super long, it's like 10 to 15 minutes. It's a painting time lapse, and then the artist talks over the time lapse. That's a format that I just learned a ton from. So I've been trying to do that as well and try to pay that forward essentially. So I've done quite a few of these videos now, and I think I have the main palette section down. I think I've learned how to do that and get relatively crisp video, relatively smooth video, and decent lighting. But one thing that I've always wanted is to also include a palette image, like a time-lapse image of the palette that is synced to the canvas or the paper. That way people could kind of match up the color mixing with the actual painting. That's something that I've found incredibly useful to help me learn, what colors mix together to match other colors and things like that. That was something that I've wanted to include, but I've had no idea how to make that happen. A big hang up for me, obviously, is I'm just a hobbyist as far as painting and as far as YouTube. So I only have one camera. I record using my iPhone and record in 4K, and then I transfer it over to my iPad and then speed it up to the speed that I need and all that stuff. Cut out some dead parts and just really basic editing. But a one camera setup means I could only record the painting surface itself. I couldn't record the palette. Another complication with that is, well, even if I had a second camera, how in the world do you sync up the palette recording with the other recording? It was kind of a mystery to me, and it's so mysterious that I found it intimidating. So I put it off for a long time, and finally I tried it. And you can see that is in this video. It's not great quality, but it is actually synced up. It's synced up to the actual painting, so to the painting surface. So that is a really, really big win. Even though there's a lot of areas to improve on this setup, that's a victory for me. So some of the challenges and some of the issues, obviously the syncing part, how in the world do you do that? So what I did was I found an old Samsung Galaxy tablet that I frankly forgot I had. I've long since transitioned to using an iPad. I forgot I had that Galaxy tablet. So using a bunch of tape and a tripod, I kind of rigged something up with that Galaxy tablet and hovered it over my palette. There is certainly the possibility that tablet could fall into the paint, which would be kind of hilarious, but not the end of the world because I forgot I even had the tablet, so it wouldn't be a tremendous loss if it got some paint on it. But so I set that up over the palette. It had enough storage space because it has an SD card, so that is good to go. I did not record it in 4K, I just did in 1080p. There's some things I want to do to improve this. I want to zoom in a little bit next time. I think this palette in this video is a little small, but overall it actually worked. So the way that I handled the syncing, I knew that I couldn't hit the buttons at the same exact time. That would require too much moving. So I decided to at least be consistent about which one I hit first. So I lean over and I hit the palette recording, start it, and then try to keep in mind how long it takes me to get to my chair and hit the record button on the painting surface. So I think it was like 2 seconds or so. So I kept that in mind. That was the delay between the two. Did the recordings for both. Got those videos off the iPhone and off the Galaxy Tab. Got them onto my iPad. And I think I mentioned earlier I use iMovie. Maybe I didn't mention that, but I use iMovie to edit these. So the first step is getting them both on there. Got the main painting surface as the main video, and then the palette as a picture-in-picture. That's an option when you import videos. You can have one be a picture-in-picture. You can kind of zoom in, stretch, expand, do some editing there. So I did that, keeping in mind I knew that I was about 2 seconds delayed between the two. So what I did was I shortened the first one, the palette video, shortened that by what I approximated to be about 2 seconds. Chopped that part off the front of the video to try to get it as close to matching as possible. Now, it wasn't exact the first time I did it. I had to hit undo a few times, try a slightly different length. It took a couple of attempts, but I was able to actually get it to where I watched a couple of sections of it to see if like quick jumps between the palette and the painting surface, if they seemed to be timed correctly, and they were. So I was actually able to get it right, which honestly was kind of shocking to me. I thought it would be, in my mind, I thought it was going to be like a whole day process, just, technologically difficult, maybe technologically frustrating, but it actually wasn't. It was easier than I thought it was going to be. So once that was synced, I didn't edit either video. I thought that would make it more complicated. I mentioned before also that usually on these video recordings, I'll if I paused or something, I'll chop out that dead space, or if I get tongue-tied or, whatever. If I stood up for some reason and blocked the camera, I would chop that part out. But I didn't do any editing. When I knew I had it synced, I said, okay, I need to export this now with it synced before I try to edit anything. So I exported it, saved that. Then I went in and started chopping what I needed to. There wasn't too much to take out, but that first initial export is where I did the editing. And then I, exported it over and over again to speed it up, and then recorded the audio. So it was not too bad. There are some things I want to improve. As you can see, like obviously I accomplished the main goal, but the palette itself is pretty small. I don't think you can really get a great sense with this one what exactly I'm mixing. You can kind of see the bigger colors, but being able to see the granular detail would be probably better. I think that would be more useful. So I have actually, as of this recording, I've already recorded the second one, which did turn out better. So I'm going to use that one not as a similar discussion. Instead, I'm going to use that as one of my start to finish painting walkthroughs where I just talk about the process. I'm probably not even really going to mention the palette that much. It'll just be on screen there, a little bigger than this one for if it helps anyone. So that's pretty much all I have about this process. As I said, it's something that was kind of intimidating to me getting into this, but I realized once I figured out that I had the extra camera, it wasn't that bad. So if anyone has any questions about doing this, about trying to record the palette and the canvas at the same time, sound out in the comments. Maybe I can help. I'm certainly not a technical expert when it comes to like video recording and stuff, but at least I was able to do one or two finally. So anyhow, thank you for watching this. I appreciate it, and I hope to see you for the next video.